going on, everybody? This is Film Nowhere. Today I'm just going to talk about podcasting and video podcasting and how to make it simple and easy and sound good and all those different types of things. Now, I know you've probably seen podcasts on YouTube lately with different types of people like Craig Adams, Sarah Dietschy, H3H3, all those different types of personalities, and they use a lot of like condenser microphones in front of them, and they're very pricey, and that's one way to do it. There's so many different ways to do it. There's people do it with lav mics when they're on the go. The way I've been doing it, and I've been going back and forth from condenser microphones like you've seen in those shows to more pencil-like microphones. Traditionally, when you see a boom microphone operator, you think they're using a shotgun microphone, but sometimes when they're in interior shots, they're actually using short microphones like this. And this is probably one of the best microphones for the price of all time. And I know Chris Judd did a review about it, and his review does not do enough justice to it. It is the Samson's CO2, and it comes with two of them, and they're only around $80. They require phantom power, but it's amazing. So yeah, as long as I point them away from each other and have a general rule about a foot away from each other, I usually get no phase detection, any phase problems, or anything like that. So that's the sound you hear right now. That's from this microphone up here. And I use that for all my types of shoots now. Sometimes the shotgun microphones are so sensitive that they can capture even the noise outside of where it's pointing to. Even the high-end Super Sennheiser ME66 and stuff like that, which I own. They're great for certain things like going outside and ambient noise and being on the street, but when you want to really capture stuff from about 2 or 3 feet away and you want it out of the shot, which I like a lot. I like the podcasts that you don't see the microphones, if that makes sense. But it's still broadcast quality. And then I basically just have this set up here for my audio interfaces and for streaming, particularly when I do these podcasts, I also do them live. So in video formats, I use this Blackmagic intensity with the Panasonic G7, which has a live HDMI out. And that HDMI out goes in there and then goes in my OBS and it runs through that. And then for sound, that microphone is not going directly into the camera. It's actually going to the Tascam D60 Mark II, which is probably the cleanest and best preamps audio interface. It kicks all of the H1, H4, H6 zoom, except for like the big ones, the F8 and stuff like that. But everything that's like the consumer based, this thing kicks its butt. It has 2 inputs, but they're the cleanest, most amazing inputs, and they have so many settings, and it's less than I think $250 or something. It's the best spent if you want to get into audio and booming and doing everything to capture sound on a show, on a podcast, in a movie. That thing is where it's at, and I use that. I connect it through there, and I then connect with one of the Rode microphone cables that I use for my Rode Video Micro. I took that out, disconnected it, the curly cable, plugged it into my Tascam output, marked it around 2, and then in my G7, I turned down the preamp all the way down to -12, plugged it in, and that's my sound. And that sound goes directly into my camera, then outside the HDMI, and inside the Blackmagic, and then online. And then I record a hard version on the Tascam. I just let the video run through the Blackmagic, and I record on the computer and stream at the same time. So yeah, that's pretty much my setup. And I've been using that for a while, and I've gone through so many different variants of like condenser microphones or dynamic microphones, having dynamic microphones in the shots, like Shure SM57s. Like they sounded great, but you get them so close, you get all the pops, you get all those types of things. But with these, you don't need a pop filter because you're far enough away to not get those pops anymore, or at least not as intense. So I hope that was helpful. I know there's a lot of people doing setups and stuff like that and showing their setups. This is my setup. It's super easy. It's super fun. It's super compact when you really think about it for the quality. You can also put these things on a table and just have them pointing at you like that. Point at the chest and then press record. I think it looks really interesting. I think they're really, really cool, and it's a little bit different, and it's cheaper than the alternatives because all those USB microphones, all those Shure's microphones that are super expensive that they use in broadcast, they're very expensive. This is only $80, and this is the heart and soul of like what my sound is now, and these things are great. Samson CO2, if I haven't said that already, Samson CO2s. So let me know what you guys think about that. What do you guys think about the sound? And I'll leave some links in the description of where I've done some podcasts, so you can listen to the podcast samples as well. So yeah, be sure to like this video if you liked it. Smash that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right away. Leave a comment. I would love to read about your thoughts about this video. See you guys. Bye.